Welcome to GOT. Today we're going to put the iPad Pro M5 up against today's top foldables. You're not going to believe the results. Let's go. Now, if you watch any of my videos in the past, you know I like to do a lot of mobile editing. I like to do them on my foldable phones simply because you have a larger screen, a larger surface to actually work with when you do edit. So it just seems to be a nice, smooth workflow on these foldables versus a bar phone where you got just a standard small screen. Now, I thought I'd go one step further, and I went ahead and purchased the new iPad Pro M5. I have the Mac Mini as well as the Mac Studio with M4s. So I figured at M5, this thing would be really fast. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare these with the foldables in tablet format so they compare directly with the iPad tablet. And you're going to find out in multitasking how close and similar the iPad is to one of the foldables. Let's start off with an app opened up in tablet form on all three of these. You can see, of course, the iPad being so large, it's got a lot more space. You got 3 here where you've got 2, but you can actually see 4 right here on this one. Is that because I'm scrolled up? Yeah, it's because I'm scrolled up. You can see, and you can scroll down and you can see all these. So you get a lot more view here on the iPad, of course, because it's a larger screen. But what we want to do is see, what does it do when it comes to multitasking? Let's see who is the better multitasker. So let's see how all 3 work as far as multitasking. How can they do split screen? Let's start here on the Automatic V5. You just swipe it to the side there and you click another app. But let's go with a browser. Now we've got 2 apps opened up here all at once. So that's great, side by side. Now over here on the Vivo X Fold 5, 3 fingers swipe up, pushes it to the side, and you just grab the browser, and where is my browser? And there you go. So very simple, both of them. Now, how about the iPad? Is there anything you can do? There is actually no gestures on the iPad here whatsoever. If you try to gesture up, you'll just close it. See there? So what do you have to do on the iPad? Well, you can pull this down and there is a menu up top and you can choose by long pressing this, you can choose to push it to the side. Look at that. It doesn't open up a menu or anything. So you got to drag up here. And let's see if I can open this up. See, it's full size, but in order to make it share the screen, fold this and go there. Okay, now it's split screen. Not so easy. It's nice having the larger screen though, when you do split screen. Now on the iPad, you can select this and long press. And look at this, when you long press, you have other options. See there's 3 apps or 4 apps on the screen. So you can go 4 apps. So check that out. Now there's 4. So I've got to go and find some. So let's go ahead and open up Mail. But check it out. It doesn't go into the spot. You would think it would automatically just go into place, but it does not. So if I long press that, now it finds its spot. And then you open up a 4th one here. And let's just open up Safari here. Push that. Does not go into place. You got it instead. Go up here, hold this, and hit that, and it didn't even go into place. See, it's not very intuitive. You have to move things around. It looks like you could resize them any way you want. So, well, no, it does not resize it. It's not like on the Samsung. It just keeps its shape. But there's 4 open. You can see all 4. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know if I would ever use it that way. And then, of course, if you hold this long press those 3 dots, you can go back to 3 on the side. Now there's 3 of them. So it actually put all 3 of those in place. So that was interesting. But you know what? You can actually do 3 over here on the Honor Magic just by simply taking another app here. And let's go with something like Gemini here. Just take it and you can see it'll do 3. So you can actually do 3 right here on the screen on the Magic V5. You can't really do that over here, but you do have a really nice feature over here on the Vivo X Fold 5. You can swipe up here from the corner and now you have what's called Workbench, where I have 4 apps open at once. So you can just swap back and forth. So that's a really nifty tool that you can use right here on the Vivo X Fold 5. And one thing I've always said, though, and lots of others, is there's a lot of empty space here. You can spread this out and it'll go full screen again. But it kind of leaves a lot of empty space here. It could have been used, but that's one way to move around different apps. All right. And then over here on the iPad, you can actually go up here in the corner. You could, like I said, resize these, but there is another feature here. But in order to get to it, you got to go over here and you can do full size apps where it's all full size apps over here. You can go to Stage Manager. Stage Manager is pretty nifty on here. As you can see already, it took those other apps and put them off to the side. And what does that look like? Same as what we got over here. And you can switch back and forth. Whoops. And if they're not, see, that's the difference here, is this thing stays at whatever size you have them at. So you can make them larger. You can actually use up more of that space if you want to. So that would be nice if they would do that on the Vivo, so you can actually use up more space. But if they were taken up last time, if they took the full screen, they're going to take the full screen again. So you have to just adjust them all. This is kind of annoying, is you have to adjust them all each time if that's the way you want them. So that's one way to do it here. Go ahead, adjust that. So you can see here, it's not, once you get them adjusted, then you can swap back and forth pretty quick. So there's some different features there for multitasking. So let's check out performance on these. Well, the iPad Pro M5, fastest chip available from Apple, beat out the Snapdragon 8 Elite that you find in the automatic V5. And we have the Snapdragon Gen 3 in the Vivo X Fold 5. So don't really expect it to do a whole lot, but let's test them out. And you know how I like to do it here in an app called InShot. What I'm going to do is I've got the same exact app right here on both of these, or all three of them, that I am going to upload. And this one says it is 16.41 minutes. And let's do it on this one. Where is it? It's 16.41 minutes and there. And put it on both these. Now, what's crazy here on the iPad, you cannot get access to everything that's on the iPad. It will not allow any app to get into the iPad storage. This is ridiculous. You have to put it all in a specific place if you want it, like photos, to be able to access all these videos and photos to put in the app. I don't like that. But there is another way around that, which is just crazy. And you just got to go in here into the file folder, find the video. And what I'm going to do, it's somewhere on here, or is it? It's under this right here. And it is this video right here, which is 6 gigs. If I select this, I got to select it. Look at all the steps you got to go through to get an app or a video into an app. Select it. And up here, I can go ahead and allow it to go into the app. Now it'll go into that. And there it is. I mean, that was a big workaround to get the app in there. But I digress. Let's go ahead and do what I call the AI cut, where it will cut out anywhere there is no speech. So this is something that I like doing on my videos, save me a lot of time, because there's a lot of dead air space in my videos while I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. So let's go ahead. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get all these started close to together. So I'll start these two first, hit the iPad, and then hit the clock. Because M5 chip, it should be the fastest, right? So let's find out. 1, 2, 3, go, go, go. All right, they're all going, and we got the timer going to see what's happening. And where are they all at? We've got 6%, 13, 15. iPad Pro seems to be doing faster than the other two. And again, remember, it's just cutting out the blank spots in this video so that it's all just dialogue. This is still at 6%. So the Snapdragon Gen 3 is going to be so, look at it, the iPad finished first, even though I didn't press it first. So that's pretty impressive. Now, if you look here, you can see, I'll show you in this iPad, you can go through here and edit your video, which is really nice. Take out the dialogue you didn't mean to say and just cut it. What it did is it automatically just cut out all the empty airspace, but you can go through the rest and cut out lines you didn't mean to say. In other words, if you had a retake or whatever, just check it and cut it out. So that one's done. And you can see the automatic V5 finish next. And we'll go ahead and speed through to get the Vivo X Fold 5 done. All right. We are done on all three. And let's find out if they have the same amount of edits. So you click this one more time to finalize it there. And now it cut it down to 6 minutes and 54 seconds. Remember, this video is 16 minutes long. There's a lot of errors. I do a lot of thinking. 654, 654, and 654. They all did. Go ahead, stop that. They all did the exact same amount of cuts, apparently. So that's pretty impressive. So now we're going to just go into export. Let's go ahead and export this video. I know I didn't do a whole lot of editing here. Export, and we're going to do export into 4K on all three of them. And we're going to export this to 4K. Notice they called it save. What I want to point out is Apple does a lot more compression of the video. Look at that. That's going to be 1 gig, okay, or 1170 megabytes, where you got 2713, 2712, a little more compression over here on the Automagic V5. So these two are about the same, and then a lot more compression on the iPad. Now, it's going to take longer to compress it even more. The more you compress it, the less quality that it's going to retain. But Apple does a really good job with their video editing. But that just means to me it's going to take a lot more. Now, I'll move this from MOV to MP4. So all three are going to be MP4s, and it still remain the same there. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get these started, and I think I will hit the iPad last because, or no, I'm going to hit it first because I think it's going to take a little bit longer because it's going to do a lot more compression. So I think it's going to take a lot longer. That's my thought anyway. So let's get going. I'll hit that, and then I hit these two, and then I will hit start. Ready, go, start. All right, we've got them all going. Let's see what happens here. We're at 2% here, 2%, 2%. Okay, 3%. We're moving along. So who knows? Maybe it's going to take a little bit longer. Oh, this is at 8% already. 8%. So these are passing the iPad, or I guess we started them first. No, we started the iPad first. So these have already caught up with the iPad and surpassed it. So we're going to speed through this test and see what happens. Now we're at over 50%, and we're at 62%, 55% on the Automatic V5. So the Vivo X Fold 5 is winning. That's pretty impressive, having the older chip in it with the Gen 3. I'm not quite sure why that's happening, but look at that. It's beating out the Automatic V5 in this simple test. And we're just now getting at 50% on the iPad. Well, why is this important to me? Well, for me, I do a lot of mobile editing, and I got this iPad thinking that I'm going to be able to process and edit videos a whole lot faster. Well, you know what? It is nice having the larger screen and everything, but as far as processing faster, ain't happening. I'm not quite sure that I'm really satisfied with that. But what's a guy going to do if you want a larger screen, you know? So is the iPad really necessary? I wouldn't think so. We just finished on the Vivo X Fold 5. We're at 86%, so 14% faster than the Automagic V5. I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's some optimizing that happened on an update here on the Vivo that really sped it up. Automagic seemed to be going a lot slower, which is interesting. Now we've got the iPad at 71%. Automagic V5 just finished at about 30% faster than the iPad. So that's a huge difference, guys. Let's go ahead and speed through this and see where this iPad finishes up. Okay, the iPad's about to finish up here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at these videos real quick on all of them. All right, so now that those videos are made, let's take a quick look at them. As you can see here, I got them all three pulled up. And the Apple is just because of that beautiful screen. It looks really, really nice. But I don't know that it's got any more detail in the video. And let's take a quicker or closer look at each of these. Is it any better? It's really hard to say. I think that you can actually see more detail in my beard here and here. Here, it's kind of blurring out a little bit. So again, they compress it quite so much, and I don't really have any eyebrow lines. You can see my eyebrows a little bit in these two. So Apple needs to work on that. Stop compressing it so much that you lose detail. Now, maybe there's somebody out there know how I can adjust that so that it doesn't compress them so much, because the iPad's rendition of the video is 1.5 gigabytes smaller than what you get on the other two. So the detail is a little bit more pronounced on the two Android devices versus the iPad. Well, that was just a quick fun test comparing today's top foldables against Apple's top iPad, the iPad M5 Pro. Now, maybe next year we'll be able to test their foldable against Android foldables. Now it's time to hear from you. What do you think? Is an iPad really worth getting? Can you do a lot more on a larger screen? Like, say, when the trifolds actually hit the market? What do you think? Leave your comments down below. If you haven't seen the Automatic V5 go up against the Vivo X Fold 5, check out this video here. Until next time, have a wonderful day. God bless.